Welcome to Ballynahinch, a market and post town in the parish of Macquidrole, Barony of Kinlarty, County Down. Join us as we explore the history and stories embedded amongst its streets and old buildings. In a land once owned by the Irish clan MacCartan, defeated in the War of the Three Kingdoms in the 17th century, their holdings would be sold off to one Sir George Royden. His family and future generations would build an estate in a town with mills that would see it thrive on the textile industry, farming and, of course, tourism. Sir John Royden, descendant of Sir George and now the Earl of Moira, took up residence in Montalto House. He made significant improvements to the estate and to the town by promoting the linen market and funding the building of churches, courthouse and many others. In time, the estate would pass in ownership to the Kerr family in the 1800s, who would introduce spa wells and mass tourism to the area and further development of the town. Settlers from lowland Scotland increased the population of Ballynahinch, and it grew as a market town with the sale of livestock, corn, potatoes and increasingly flax for the linen industry. The town would find itself embroiled in a bloody rebellion led by the United Irishmen and be witness to a ruthless subjugation by the victorious enemies. Sir George had built a town and 2 mills, and had repaired the old church, and a large space was created, appropriated for holding markets and fairs. The town would become the epicentre of the United Irishmen Rebellion on the 12th of June 1798. Some several thousand United Irishmen militia would face off against the might of General Nugent's army. The insurgents were soon driven from their post on the Windmill Hill, and the king's troops set fire to the town. The Irishmen would put up a ferocious fight, but ultimately suffered defeat, seeing their leader betrayed, captured, and shortly after executed. The rebellion in the end would be completely subjugated, but its impact, pride for some, consternation for many others, especially amongst Presbyterians, would be felt for centuries thereafter. After the Battle of Ballynahinch, the town and the estate would pass to the Kerr family. They would be the first to introduce tourism, unheard of at the time, on a large scale to Ballynahinch and the local parish. Less easy of approach than in these days, we learn from Harris, who in his History of County Down 1744 tells us that the country about is extremely coarse, full of rocks and hills, which render all access to it troublesome and unpleasant, and is justly complained of by travellers, who can only hobble through the broken and narrow causeways, and from this terrible condition of the roads it has obtained the name Macradroll, the field of difficulties, which it truly deserves. Long since excellent country roads replaced those that are animated upon here, and now visitors proceeding from Belfast, the usual point of departure, are conveyed to their destination along one of the smoothest railroads in the kingdom, and in carriages that surpass for comfort a distance of 21 statute miles in an hour and a half, including stoppages. There is mention of a parish church of Macradroll since the 13th century. Old ruins remain on Crabtree Hill. This old church at the time of Reformation was in use by both Protestant and Catholic worshippers, Catholics celebrating Mass at 9 a.m. and reformers having their service at 11:30. Lord Moira built a church here in 1772, which having fallen into decay was taken down in 1829, and a new edifice was erected on its site, towards which £850 was granted by the late Board of First Fruits. The tower and the spire of the old building remain on the west side of the present church. It is perhaps hard to imagine that Ballynahinch was once a centre for tourism, with visitors flocking to the town to take advantage of the much lauded health benefits from the 3 wells at Spa. The medicinal properties of the water had been rumoured upon since the 18th century, with many people reporting how drinking it had cured them of all their ills. Sir David Kerr, Esquire of Montalto Estate, was swift to recognise the popularity of these spas and built hotels, a ballroom, a maze, a golf course and a Presbyterian church for all the Presbyterians to encourage tourists from all over to vacation here. In 1810, at much personal expense, Sir David Kerr would install 2 pumps at Spa to bring the water to the surface and to the health needs of the masses. But sadly, as time passed, the popularity of the wells diminished with the opening of a new railway to Newcastle and its popular beaches, and the wells and their healing properties melted into history. No town in the County Down, or indeed throughout the whole of Ulster, is so much resorted to by valetudinarians as this pleasant, central and beautifully situated place, popularity for which is chiefly indebted to its widely celebrated spas, which have held their place in public estimation through all changes of opinion and caprices of fashion for more than a century, and are more frequented as the present day than any spa in Ireland. Well, the sun sinks low on the golden sky, shadows lengthen as the day whispers